In this video, I am reacting to the Red Star blog post. I'm further discussing the Fox and Disney merger, plus a few other tidbits, so let's go smash it!
ValleyFlyin.
Hey, what's up all you Valley Maniacs? ValleyFlyin here. I am back. Welcome to the channel. Now, in this video, we are talking about the Red Star blog. I'm going to give my reaction to that. It took me a little while to figure out how I wanted to respond because there's a little bit of a dichotomy, and I'm not sure. So I'm going to explain both of my stances, but before I did that, I did want to get into this Fox-Disney merger. Now, in the last video, mistakenly interpreted that article that said that the deal was approved by both shareholders of Fox and Disney. I thought that meant that it was done, but there's a lot of other approvals that need to be done before they officially take over the company. This is from December 9, 2018, so a week ago. Motley Fool. Disney's acquisition of Fox nears the finish line. And it looks like there's a bunch of other approvals. There's a picture of Iger and Murdoch right there. And it looks like a lot of the holdup is because of all the sports networks that came along with the deal. And they're working it out. One of the big holdouts is Brazil in that aspect. But final statement here. We don't have a concrete date as to when the deal will finally close. The window is shrinking. And that's from Disney's Bob Iger. And last June, we estimated it could take up to 12 months for the transaction to close. But we are increasingly optimistic it will be meaningfully earlier than that. For its part, Fox is, and this is not a quote anymore, but for its part, Fox is planning to be ready by the beginning of 2019. Peter Rice, president of 21st Century Fox, reportedly told his employees in a town hall meeting the company will be logistically ready to close on January 1st. So Fox will be ready. So as soon as they get all the approvals, it looks like it will be good to go. The exact date, not sure. But the reason I left that video up, even though this was made aware to me pretty recently after I put that up, is because most of the message is the same. Most of it was about Disney's history. But unfortunately, I think it makes the future a little more uncertain if Disney is not in control of Fox yet. I think if they controlled it in July and they were moving on with business as possible, a little more cash grabby than usual, but I think that gave it a little more promise. With this not in control of it yet, I think it makes it a little more uncertain, but I think it makes a lot of the moves recently by FoxNext a little more explainable. I'm going to talk about that in my reaction to the Red Stars. So let's get into that. All right, so let's talk about Red Stars. Now, we had this blog come out. This was last Friday. And I was waiting on my reaction because I wasn't sure what my response was. Because in a way, I understood why exactly FoxNext is doing this. But it was pretty much what I was expecting. I kind of feared for it. But as soon as they announced that there was a double Red Star Blitz coming, I kind of thought that they would just be doubling down. And that's kind of what they did with this. No changes to the two biggest issues with the Red Stars, the RNG and the huge power increases. Now, one of those on their own, not so bad, but when you combine the two, I think it makes it a really bad system. Still not in favor of it. But what they've done is say, instead of fixing that, we're going to explain how it works and go into some specifics, kind of cherry picking the data. I'm going to cover that in a little bit. But they said, you're going to get more Red Stars. So instead of saying that gambling is bad, we want to take it out of our game. Here's more chips to go gamble with. Here's more lottery tickets. Here's more tokens that you could put in that slot machine and see what you get, in hopes of maybe having you spend more money on it. And talking about Blitz, one thing I thought here, some of the pre-generated teams we provide Tier 8 of Blitz are currently overpowered, and we're fixing that error. Yeah. I wish you guys realized that before, what the huge impact that these would make on a lot of game modes. They said it's not that big, that the power level doesn't matter. And in some instances, it doesn't. I think team synergy is more important than Red Stars to some extent. You know, if you get a 6 or 7 star red stars, yeah, that's way overpowered. But the minor red stars, the 3 and 4, which a lot of people are getting, not that huge, but not really hearing what the community is saying. And I gotta say, I understand why. You know, one thing that I wish after the fact that I realized that I wish that we had done with the collab video was provide a way or a solution that FoxNext could continue to make money and have these and take out a lot of these aspects that some of the community doesn't like. But I gotta say, when I look at these numbers, this is from Think Gaming again. Little bit of a drop since the last time we did this. They're down at 41 today, and let me scroll up to show you that this is from on iPhone December 17th, which is the day I am recording this. They were at 31 the last time I looked. They are now down at 41, but still making a good chunk of money. And I have to suspect that a lot of it is because of these red stars. Look at Google Play Store. We don't have the actual revenue here, but again, December 17th. Think Gaming, and they are number 23. I think they were at 21. So, little bit of a drop, but not that much. And this is where I'm kind of torn, because I understand why FoxNext is doing this. They're put into a hard place from Disney. So either they have to show that they're earning a lot of money, so that Disney does not shut them down. And I don't want them to shut this game down. And which is influencing my thought of these red stars. They're just kind of a necessary evil to keep the game afloat. But I don't think they're good for the long-term health of the game. You know, what could happen with this? Maybe they'll get cash and buy out of their contract and maybe go independent and just license out the product and continue to make this game. Maybe they get sold to another studio. And if it doesn't show enough profit, maybe Disney will shut them down. I think that is the unlikely scenario, considering how well this game is performing from a pure numbers standpoint. The gross on this game is just looking crazy. So in that sense of keeping this game afloat, I think that the red stars are a good thing, because as much as I criticize these red stars and the way these are handled, I don't want the game to get shut down. So let's go over to Reddit and look at a post that I saw that I liked. All right, so let's look at this Reddit post. I enjoyed this. This was from a couple days ago. This was almost immediately after the red stars came out, and I reached out to the author of this. He asked me not to mention him by name and not to link this article, because he wanted this more as a reaction rather than a discussion. But I thought it was so well written that I did want to talk about it. Let me just quote a few things. Can't remember the last time that I've seen a carefully drafted explanation that is so obviously disingenuous. Talking about the red stars, and it's been a hot topic of the community for a while, and it is kind of downplaying that in the beginning. Yeah, and there's a lot of contradictions that went on in the blog post, and he points it out pretty well here. You acknowledge the problem. Unfortunately, you don't actually address it, which is kind of what I felt about the blog post as well. So I'm just kind of summing up this. He didn't want me to put a link to this Reddit post, but I would search it out because it's a good read. He didn't want it to become a discussion, but there's a lot of good points in this that I think a lot of us were feeling. I wasn't able to fully wrap my head around why I was feeling that way until I got this article. But at the same time, I still understand where FoxNext is coming from, because they got that mouse threat looming. All right, it's exactly the same as before, and they're talking about the power level, how you could beat teams that are a higher power level. That has not changed. The Red Stars has not changed that, but it's just making it easier to get way beyond that power level that you could still beat these teams. And then they mentioned an example where a team could beat another team that had a bunch of red stars, but that example is kind of cherry picking the teams. It's not the best team to go up against, And they mentioned a 7 red star crossbones, but they're using a maxed out Shield Fury team, which is very good, and then a good but slightly flawed team here. So it's not the best example. All right, I think this next couple sentences sums up the reaction that a lot of us had perfectly. Increasing the number of pulls does not fix the underlying issue. If these pulls were enough to mitigate the RNG nature of the system, there wouldn't be any value in offering additional pulls for sale, and I think FoxNext is well aware of this. There's still going to be incredibly lucky pulls that will render months of gameplay and spending irrelevant. That's your business model. Now own it. And again, it is their business model, and I understand why it's their business model, because they don't want to get shut down. They've spent a lot of time developing this game before the Disney deal came on, and you know, the future gets uncertain with that deal, given Disney's history. So you know, I think they're just trying to stay afloat because of Disney's reaction to games not being profitable. So they're trying to make this as profitable as possible. And as you can see from the data that I showed earlier, that this is a very profitable model for them. Not the best in terms of generating goodwill, but it is profitable. Now, I do want to show my roster, because some people have said, you know, you're against them because you haven't got any good red star pulls. I think Gamora is a pretty good red star pull. Shield Trooper, only 3 stars, but is a good red star pull. I did manage to get a 6 star, and it's on Kingpin, so not the best character to have a 6 star on, because most of his value is from the buffs he applies, not necessarily his stats. But, you know, I haven't gotten the worst red star pulls. Not the best, but not the worst either. But even if I got a 7-star Crossbones or a 7-star Quake or another character, I still wouldn't be happy with it. It's not how I like to game. And that leads me to the poll results. Right when this poll, or right when the blog post came out, I put up this poll on YouTube. 671 votes, and overwhelmingly, the blog either changed nothing for them or it angered them more. There's a small percent that liked them before and still like them. There's another percent that likes them a little bit more, slightly. But I think the overall response is negative towards the red stars and towards this blog. Obviously, they're still making money, so they're kind of in a hard place with this. I don't know what the solution is to account for the revenue that they would be losing by removing these red stars. And of course, with that Disney threat there, I don't know if they're necessarily doing the wrong thing. Because I'd much rather have these silly red stars in the game than to have this game shut down. So if they're making money from it, I don't know if it's necessarily a bad thing. And as you can see, they are making money from it. It dropped a little bit since Friday, but there's a lot of money to be made with these red stars, and hopefully that is in the best interest of keeping this game alive. I hope that is why they're doing this. That's it, guys. Let me know your comments. Let me know what you think about the blog post. Let me know if Disney's involvement changes your thoughts on the way they're doing business or not. It has for me. I gotta be honest. I like the game. You know, as much issues as there are with it, it's still fun for me to play, which is why I still make content about it. And I hope it's still fun for you guys as well. But if not, I will be reviewing some other games. See what my impression of it is, and I don't know. I may or may not continue talking about other games, depending what you guys think. Because again, this is a channel for you guys, and I want to put up the content that you guys want. So let me know in the comments what you guys are thinking, what you guys want to see. I'll see you guys next time. You guys reach out to me on Discord, Facebook, Twitter, and of course I do live stream on Mondays and Thursdays, so if you want to chat with me, you can. That point. And I do have one question for you before you go. What you gonna do, dude, when ValleyFlyin and all the Valley Mayonnaise come down on you, dude? ValleyFlyin out.